and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I want to talk about my favorite modern fantasy book. There are a ton of contenders. The two that come to mind immediately are Assassin's Fate and Memory of Light. Those two books rocked me to my core and I still think about them constantly. However, they aren't my favorite. Those books are the pinnacle of their series, but neither of them are the book that I fall back to whenever I need something comfortable or just need to reset my mood. Instead, that title falls on Mother of Learning. It's not a novel often talked about on BookTube, largely because I feel it faces a bit of classism, as it's a web novel. It wasn't self-published, let alone traditionally published. Instead, it was uploaded for free on Wattpad, Fiction Press, and then later Royal Road. It was recommended to me by my friend a few years ago when I was working a night shift at a hotel. It's 1,000,000 words long, but I devoured it in just a few days, and I was left so hungry for more. I have an English degree. I know and I love the classics and literary fiction, but this book is simply utter enjoyment. It tells a fascinating and interesting story with great world building and even better character development. So, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's break down what this book is. Mother of Learning is about a mage student named Zorian who has slightly above average skills. While in school, a tragedy occurs. However, completely by haphazard luck, he is given the unique chance to undo what's happened. He not only gets to improve his skills as a mage, but he also gets to improve his overall life and the relationships around him. The character work the author manages to do is masterful. Just when you think you understand one of the side characters, you realize that just like Zorian, you completely missed what truly motivates them. The characters are incredibly deep and complex. My favorite moments aren't the battles with the liches and hydras, but instead they're the small things like when Zorian is learning to draw with his sister, or him going out drinking and talking about girls with Zack. And despite everything spiraling out of control, this story never loses its tone. It's simply fun. The magic is engaging, and it's in the same vein as from Dungeons and Dragons. In one way, it's simple. It has a very low-level learning curve for basic understanding, but it's incredibly deep as Zorian starts to really analyze things and break them down and combine them with different magics in unique ways. The Simulacrum spell is a perfect example of this. I'm going to give a time code here if you don't want any spoilers about what he manages to do with the spell. It firstly built upon his soul magic, which he began to study very early on to analyze his soul's damage from his fiasco with Zack. Then, when he manages to discover how the spell is cast, he combines it with his natural mind magic, so he now has constant contact with his simulacrum. Then, he uses his knowledge of golem making, which he has been slowly accumulating throughout the entire novel, to give his simulacrum a more physically powerful and durable body. Then he combines his already powerful simulacrum knowledge with his teleportation magic to create a gate spell that allows him to transport to wherever his simulacrum is at any given time. And then finally, by the end, he's created a method of mind magic that allows him to have a hive consciousness with all of his simulacrums at once. It's just amazing how Nobody 103 manages to build upon the groundwork he set up so early on. And that's not just true with the magic. Every question seems to have an answer, and Nobody 103 does a phenomenal job of setting things up, especially in regards to the ending. You can tell he knew exactly where he wanted the story to end up when he very first started writing. I enjoyed every minute of reading this book, to the point where I actually reread it. And then I got the audiobook when that came out and listened to it. And then I listened to it again. And while I completely believe this book is all about the journey rather than the destination, it still manages to stick its landing in a spectacular way. Right now, the author is taking a little bit of a break from the setting and trying something a bit new with a new novel. But I dearly hope that someday we do get to see a bit more from this world. For me, this book is a 10 out of 10. Maybe there are parts that are a bit rough with the pacing, but that's nothing to me, faced by the sheer monumental enjoyment I experience whenever I read this book. And at the end of the day, this book just brings me so much joy, and I love it for that. That's my review. Those are my thoughts. Let me know in my comments if you've read the book. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by. See ya. Bye-bye.